Hi, welcome to Snake Snadders. We're continuing our introducing series today by discussing these little chaps, known as Chinese water dragons in the trade. They're from a few different areas, including Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia and Myanmar. As full-grown animals, a male is going to be about 90 centimetres long, a female slightly smaller at 75 centimetres. The males can also be told apart because they develop incredibly deep pink or even purple cheeks as breeding males. Physignathus in Latin basically means swollen jaw, which is quite descriptive because they end up with a massive head when they're full grown. They're omnivores and take a range of prey. They'll take the vegetation occasionally, they'll also take eggs, both boiled and scrambled, they'll take live foods, and as adults they'll even take the occasional pinky or fuzzy mouse. They are incredibly tolerant animals, they become lovely and tame, they're fabulous. There is a problem though with the size. People don't quite appreciate just how much room these guys are going to need to be able to roam and run the way that they normally would naturally. You're going to be looking at a very large enclosure, and this must be considered prior to you buying this animal and setting it up. When they're this size, it's easy to be fooled because they're tiny little green things, and years back people always used to sell them as the alternative to green iguanas, the manageable green iguana. And certainly they are far more manageable than a green iguana, but they're also a sizable lizard in their own right, and they're going to need a good sized tank. These animals naturally live near water sources, and if they get scared they're going to dive down into the water. They'll remain submerged under the water for 45-50 minutes holding their breath, waiting for their opportunity to re-emerge. Sometimes people build the vivariums, and what they'll do is they'll actually make the floor area a water container, a water tank. You see, there's a common problem with water dragons. They don't see clear barriers. Glass barriers are a nightmare for them. They just want to run straight through them. And when vivariums are badly designed and they don't have the deep lip at the front, the lizards will literally just try and steam through it. And it's quite often the case that you will see water dragons that are completely missing the front of their snout and the front part of their lower maxilla, and they can actually take it back to bare bone, and they look like a little vampire with their little teeth hung out. And it's such a shame because they've got fabulous faces. So as you look round, you can see that they are adept climbers. They're quite happy climbing up and down on our hands. Go on, up you go. They're just absolutely gorgeous in so many ways. These longer toes are great for climbing, and they've also got a slight keel to them that helps them when they're paddling for swimming as well. They become totally tame, and they're really rewarding as a lizard to keep. On top of their head, let me just grab you one sec. In between the eyes, on the top, you might, if I can just get it to focus, hold it there a second. There's an enlarged scale. This scale is photosensitive. They can tell changes in light level, and they call this the parietal eye or the pineal eye. This is also so that they can spot in case any birds of prey, any hawks, eagles are flying overhead, and again they will dive into the water to feel protected. They need to have high level UV light, and they're going to bask at around 36 degrees Celsius. As a young animal like this would initially set them up in a 4-foot viv. As the adult viv, realistically you're going to probably be custom building it yourself. We're talking about something the size of a double door wardrobe, 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 2 foot deep. They love to be able to climb, and they'll hang vertically on climbing apparatus. They like to feel safe, so we want to make sure that they've got plenty of opportunities to move away from human sight, and also that we've got foliage and plants so it looks nice and naturalistic. They need to have a multivitamin calcium powder put onto their food, and then obviously the UV light is going to help be able to turn that into bone along with the heat. A thermostat is an absolute must, a dimming thermostat to control your heating element. You will probably get away with a spotlight in its beginner viv, but in its larger tank more than likely you're looking at a ceramic heat emitter so that we can get enough heat into that vivarium. You'll be blowing spot bulbs every 5 minutes if you try to do it with a spotlight. There is another species as well. That animal used to be called Physignathus lyciori, and that was the Australian water dragon. That's since been reclassified into Intelagama. They're very similar facially, but the Australian water dragons are black and grey in bands, and also the males develop deep red throats as well. You may still be able to find those, but they are far harder to get and they cost a lot more. The husbandry is pretty similar, to be honest. I hope you've enjoyed the series. Consider a water water dragon, but bear in mind the adult eventual size of this animal. This is not something that you buy and then, you know, a year later when it's 2.5 foot, you put it on Gumtree. We've got to keep this for life. This guy is ace. Just look at him, he's absolutely stunning. Keep following the videos. We'll keep the series coming. We're going to keep working through our beginner lizards. Visit the website, which is www.snakesandadders.co.uk, to see what we're all about. Cheers.